Soil, very important. She's going to get a conditioner in here, a soil conditioner. It's called Schultz's clay soil conditioner. It's actually small granules, very small, that they've fired. And it looks like kitty litter. That's all it looks like. It looks like light tan kitty litter. Until you make it wet, then it gets dark brown, okay, because it absorbs water. The important thing that you want with bonsai soil is you don't want it to compact easily. So what you do, these are sifters that I use, and you would take this regular potting soil that they've got wonderful material here they use for potting soil. Only thing you need to add is some of that clay soil conditioner to it. We'll have it here. She's going to get it in so that you can get quick access to it. And when you're doing pines, they like a rougher, more granular soil with not a lot of organic material in it. They don't need a lot of organic material. Azaleas, they like acidic soil. So you actually want to use a fertilizer. You can use normal potting soil, but you want to put more organic material in it. So what you do is you sift. I first start with the larger one. See, it's got large openings, and you just sift out all the big stuff. I don't want real large stuff in the soil because it takes up too much space. So I get rid of the large stuff. Now I'm left with the other stuff that I want to sift. Now I want to get rid of all the real little stuff because I want the stuff that's in between. Why? When you've got a plant that's in a small container, that's not used to being in a small container, that is used to being in open ground, it can grow at its own pace and gather its own nutrients and gather its own moisture when it needs it. But now all of a sudden you've put it in a small, confined space. You've got to take really good care of the roots. They are the heart of the plant. If you've got a plant at home in your garden that hasn't been doing well, check the roots. Check the soil around the roots. You've got a lot of clay in the soil here in South Carolina. Clay is not usually really good medium to use. It gets very sticky when wet and holds moisture too long. If it holds the moisture too long, got too much sand, too much small particles, it'll hold the water too long. If it holds the water too long, you can get root rot. It stays wet too long, and then it can no longer absorb nutrients to keep the plant healthy. You want larger pieces of soil. That's why you sift it. That's why you add the soil conditioner, because you want little spaces and pockets where water and oxygen can gather. What you want is a very fibrous looking root growth coming from the bottom of your plant. Lots of small fibers. A lot of times when you get nursery stock or you take something out of the wild, I have found, one of my maples is I was sitting at a light and I looked over to the ditch and I went, that's a Japanese maple growing in a ditch? Well, I came back later and asked the guy if he'd mind if I could pull that out of his ditch. He didn't care. I dug that puppy up, took it home, and it's a nice little bonsai right now. Okay? But when I gathered it up, it didn't have very good root structure. It was in poor soil. Okay? I trimmed the roots, dropped it in, put it in its convalescing place where it would grow back, put good soil in it. And the next year when I repotted it again, it was full of fibrous root growth. Because the soil that you use, again, you want it in larger sizes, not really big, but larger than a granule of sand. You don't want sand usually because it can compact. You've been on the beach where you've walked on hard sand, where it's wet, it compacts. It doesn't allow oxygen in, it doesn't allow water to go through real good. Okay? That's what you've got to have with your bonsai soil. Now, what you'll know is if you've got a juniper, that's a hardy type of a species of plant. Okay? You can put a wrong soil mix in it. It'll probably be okay if you feed it okay. All right? When do I feed? Don't ever feed after you've trimmed the roots. We're going to talk about that right now. When you pull the root, when you pull a plant, especially in a garden center stock, out of the container it's been growing in, it's probably going to have a lot of roots in it. And any of you that have ever done that, planted shrubs, you know. Sometimes, man, it's full, it's a big root ball. Okay? Well, when you're going to drop that into a small tray like this or pot, obviously you've got to trim the roots. Okay? I was told a long time ago when I worked outside on a golf course, if you ever cut the taproot of a tree, it'll die. No, it won't. Found out later when I did bonsai. And when I first found that out, I went, them guys lied.